Where are all the good men at? I hear this all the time. I'm not annoyed by it, but I would give generic answers before. Well, they're here if you believe in good men. If you believe in them, your reticular activating system will start to notice healthy men. If you can define what a good, healthy man is, then your brain by default will begin to notice that thing that you were thinking of and putting out into the world and then attracting and magnetizing. And it's not so much the law of attraction, it's really just what's happening in your body. Bade-Hoff-Minor effect in psychology. You can look that up. And so I would say that, and I would say you've got to believe, and I would also say, hey, you've got to heal that past wound that you have with men. Maybe men have been unreliable and unsafe in your past, and I get that, and I'm sorry. And can we work on that? Can we move towards healing that? My beloved and I, Christine, we have a program called Be the Queen, which helps women love openly, which helps women heal their past and attract and draw in that beauty into their lives, that epic, sacred relationship and sacred union. But not without looking at, okay, where have you had unavailable men in your life? Where couldn't you trust men? Where have you been hurt by men? And how can we heal that? Can we heal that? I mean, I have many ideas on how. And that's then you'll start to see and witness all these good men. And I would say things like that, and many others, right? I would also say, can you love yourself deeper to let love in? Can you heal that part of you that is hurting? Can you be in deeper communion with those parts of you that need attention, that need your assistance, the whole version of you, that look to you for wisdom now? And for the first time in my life, when a woman asks me that, where are all the good men at? I can give all of those responses and more, of course. Just giving you a taste. But now for the first time, and I can actually say a geographical location. And I mean that. I'm being very serious. I'm smiling, but I'm being very serious. I'm not smirking. I'm not being facetious. So that question that I'm often asked multiple times a week, multiple times a day, where are all the good men at? Austin, Texas. That's where they are. And I am so serious when I say that. There is a community of men here that, from my perspective, and I've been in men's work for quite some time, and I have a perspective on what a healthy man or healthy men look like. May not be completely accurate in your eyes or someone else's perspective or perception of. But for me, in the thousands of men that I've worked with, in the deep shadow work I've taken men through, in being a man myself and having traversed and continuing to traverse my own shadows and my own self, all the good men, all the solid men are here in Austin, Texas. Well, not all of them, but many of them. Now, I would also say, when people say, well, where are all the good men at? I would also say, well, there's a difference between being a good man and being good at being a man. And that is for a video for another time, but let me just touch on it. Being a good man is a cultural construct. It's a set of values that you imprint upon someone else, upon a man, and say, you're a good man. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an extreme example. Bear with me though. You have someone that wants to inflict harm on others for the sake of their religion or their spiritual beliefs. And they go and they inflict harm on others and in the process hurt themselves. Now, the victims of those people that have been hurt would say that that man is not a good man. That man is a bad man. That man is dishonorable. That man is a murderer. That man is violent. They wouldn't associate healthy characteristics with that man. The opposing side that hold the same spiritual beliefs or cultural beliefs that that man did would say he's a great man. He's a man that's going to God. He's a man that is worthy of love. He's a man of duty. He's fulfilled his duty. So you've got two very different perspectives. But being good at being a man is more of an evolutionary construct, a biological construct. Connecting to our roots, culturally yes, but biologically as men. When man was first created, invented, evolved, however you want to look at it, what were we doing? Who are we being? Yes, we've changed a great deal from millions of years ago, from when we were humanoids, or hundreds of thousands of years ago, Homo sapiens. And there is some truth that is ingrained in being good at being a man. And I teach this in my men's work, of course, and part of it is the 4 tactical virtues that Jack Donovan speaks to, and I've added another tactical virtue, connectivity. And so there are 5 that for me determine what it means to be good at being a man. So I say all of that because of this. Because when you ask, where are all the good men at? Well, they're not all here in Austin, but many of them are here. And there aren't only good men here, there are men that are becoming good at being men. That's important. There are men here that are being solid and structured and reliable and consistent and available, not only physically but also emotionally. They're able to be in access their emotional expression, their vulnerability, their openness, their ability to communicate effectively and cleanly, yet not be leaky in their emotions, not be untrusting in themselves, in their posturing in life, to not be loose and not know who they are. There are men that are coming here in Austin, Texas, that are purposeful, that are driven, yet they're not sacrificing everything else they value in order to achieve. They're not hyper in their masculinity. They're not unhealthy and extreme in their masculinity. When you look to nature, you see homeostasis everywhere. Humans are no different. We're looking for harmony. We're looking for that just right scenario. We don't want a man that is extreme, that is violent, oppressive, controlling, abusing. We want a man that can act and be decisive and be directional in extreme situations, sure, because extreme situations are a natural part of life, but they're also in the minutiae of life for most of us. For most of us. I'm not going to be arrogant or naive and think that much of humanity does not live in extremity. And that is a sad fact. A sad fact. Whether it's extreme poverty or being in an extremely dangerous situation, such as a war-torn country. But let's get real for a moment. Where are all the good men at? Well, they're not all here, but there's a few of them here. Let me tell you. And for the first time in my life, I can say that there is a community here of men like no other I've ever seen before. And I've traveled to over 75 countries in my life. Maybe 74. Maybe 74 to 76, somewhere there. Anyway, it's irrelevant. I've lived in different places. The community here, let me tell you something. The male community here, that game is stronger than the female community here. And that is no lie. There is something special going on. And all to say that I have co-founded something remarkable with other remarkable men, and we are creating that movement. We are going to be the biggest men's movement in the world. MPowered Brotherhood. MPowered Brotherhood. MPowered Brotherhood. Letter M, Powered Brotherhood. There's a play on that. And we're doing some amazing things here. We are opening the hearts of men. We are getting them physically strong and grounded. We are helping them be reliable men. We are learning from each other. We are growing together. We are giving to the community. We are showing up for each other. We are shifting trauma. We are bringing men into this container that hate men, that haven't been able to ever trust men, that have projected that anger and that shame onto women, onto their families, onto the world. They have hid from themselves. They have run from themselves. They have shamed and hated themselves. They have aggressed themselves, and they have been violent towards others. They don't trust men, but they're here in this container. And you'll see it. You'll hear and you'll see with your own eyes. You'll feel the testimonials of these men talking openly, sharing their stories. Because that's a safe container we're creating. And we're also challenging men, calling them forward, bringing the best of them forward. And the worst of them, because all of them is welcome. But we don't want the worst of them being projected unconsciously into the world, and that's why we're doing this work. Powered Brotherhood. I'll tell you where the good men are at. I'll tell you where the men that are being good at being men are at as well. Austin, Texas.